Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. We've got a great show lined up for you today. It's FOMC Day. We're going to be having the Fed Rate Decision coming out today. It's going to be a lot of volatility in the markets. We're going to be looking at the TA, taking a look at what's going on in the macroeconomic stuff. And today, special guest, we're going to have Brad here from Infinite Crypto, bringing you guys some wisdom and knowledge in the world of gems. That and a whole lot more right here today on Piper Academy, guys. Without any further ado, class is in session. Guys, welcome to Piper Academy. I'm Army Piper, coming at you every Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge. Why? Because knowledge is profit, guys. Welcome to the show. If it's your first time here, guys, don't be afraid to go in, hit that subscribe button there, and hit that notification bell. Get notified every time we go live. And if you get any content today that gave you something, then go ahead and hit that like button. We appreciate it. Just want to let everyone know before we bring up our special guest today, nothing that we do on here is financial advice. So do your own research. We're just trying to give you guys information that you may have missed. It takes a lot of work to research everything that we look at. And we're just trying to save you some time and hopefully save some space in your portfolio so you don't have a lot of losses there. But I don't do the show by myself. I have a great team. OC out today. Guys, if you are following what's going on with OC's internet, he's getting Starlink today. So shout out to Elon Musk for saving our favorite Mexican technical analyst. So let's go ahead and bring up my partner in crime today that's going to be doing the show with me, Tradefly. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What is going on, guys? Happy to be here. It's another day in crypto land, and it's FOMC day. So,
let's go. FOMC. Gotta love it, man.
Yeah, so we got some big news. We got a special guest. I'm super excited about that. I haven't really talked to him all that much yet. So I've heard about him. I've seen his content, and I've seen him, I believe, on Billy Goat Tales, if I remember correctly.
Yep, he's been on Billy Goat Tales. He is a member of the Givers Gain community. So
there it is, man.
He gets a thumbs up from us just for that one right there. And then on top of that, he's got some really good content. So all the links are going to be down below in the description today, guys. Go give Brad a follow. But we keep talking about him, but we haven't even brought him up. Let's go ahead and get him up here. Let's go. What's up, Brad? How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here. Have really enjoyed listening to you guys talk on Billy Goat Tales. And I'm excited to be on the show. I think we're going to give the audience some great alpha, and they're going to come away from the show glad that they spent this hour with us.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. We try to put out top quality content every day, but today there just seems to be a whole lot more than normal. So we're going to try to get through all of it because today I want to mainly focus on really the FOMC, and then Brad, I got some questions for you. And then I also want to hear, what are you looking at? What's what in the gem world, small cap world, because that's where you really specialize at. That's where I want everyone to get some information from you. But go ahead and tell the viewers, in case they don't know, like, who is Brad and what is Infinite Crypto? Let's go ahead and talk about you for a second.
Awesome. I'll try to give you the 15-minute version in about a minute and a half.
All right, go for it. I like it.
So yeah, my name's Brad Varnell. Back in 2017, a good friend of mine, a business partner, a guy that I had a lot of respect for, was buying a little token you guys might have heard of called Ethereum at $9.
And maybe I've heard of that.
Yeah, $9. Wow.
Another one that isn't as popular now, but it was big back then. It was called Ant Shares, and it rebranded into a token called NEO. And he was buying it for around 25, 30 cents. Towards the peak of that bull market, Ethereum topped out at about 1,400, I believe, and Ant Shares, then NEO, went to $196. And I watched my buddy turn $10,000 into $2.2 million. And that got me pretty excited. Unfortunately, up to that point, I just kind of sat and watched on the sidelines. So I jumped into crypto full force at the tail end of 17, beginning of 18. paid my dues in 18, 19, and 20. Thought we were going to get even richer quicker. He thought he was going to turn his 2 into 10 in 18. And I thought I was going to turn, my little bit of money into a lot of money like he had. And instead, we got crushed off in 18, 19, and 20. But we learned a lot. I tell my audience all the time that the thing that I really did right was I invested money that I could afford to leave in the market long term. And so I just kept dollar cost averaging in over those 3 years. And then, as we all knew, eventually it had to come back, about November or so of 2020, when everything started going the right direction. I made more money from November of 2020 to May of 2021 than I'd made in almost the rest of my life combined.
Very nice. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you work with your son. And I work with my son. So we have that in common, which I think is pretty cool. Is your son in crypto at all?
Absolutely.
So did you get him into crypto, or did he get you into crypto? Did the Zoomer get the boomer into crypto, or did the boomer get the Zoomer into crypto? That's what I want to know.
I definitely got him into crypto. So he's seen my whole life. I did have a 40-40-40 plan going for a little while, in order to pay the bills. I was a poker dealer out here in Las Vegas. Lived here in Vegas. I've worked at the MGM, the Venetian, the Wynn. But he also saw the whole time that I was doing that I was looking for freedom, financial freedom, the ability to be independent. And so he watched me jump into crypto, and then he saw me quit my job mid 2019.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And then my wife was able to quit her job, at 33 years old in 2020. And so he definitely saw the difference between us having a job and having to go to work every day, and then the freedom that we've had. And he wants that freedom. And so he's great at investing his money into crypto. He's got a nice little portfolio growing, and, he's going to be 18 here in July. And I think by the time this bull run commences, he'll probably be a millionaire.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's the long game. That's what we talked about with Magic Internet Money last week. It's about the long game, and you seem to have harnessed that and grabbed those reins and riding that train. We got some news coming out right now. TradeFly, are you pulling up anything on that right now?
No, I didn't. The only thing I have up is the Fidelity story.
Yeah,
so,
while I go into, I want to take a look at the news here, Brad. We're going to get back to all this, and you're going to be up here for the news also. We're going to get in and take a look at what's going on today. But TradeFly, if you can look for some article from XBT or something going on crypto X space right now, looks like we're getting rumored messages, allegedly, that XRP was hacked. If you can take a look for that, please.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah. And then we might have some breaking news here on that. If you can look for that, I'm going to go ahead and jump over, and we're going to get into the markets here. Guys, taking a look here, a lot of red on the chart today. Looks like Caspa down 4.8% for the day here. TIA down another 8%, NEAR down 5.9%. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market cap over the day. Bitcoin down 1.3%, Ethereum down 1%, BNB down 1.8%. Solana taking a massive punch to the gut, down 5.1% today. Doesn't look like anything major here on the daily here for XRP, but let's go ahead and let's put this down to like the last hour and see what's going on with that. And see if there's any validity, because we like to verify this information before we get too much into it. Yeah, it says it's down 0.5% in the past hour. I don't know that that's much in that story, but make sure if there is anything that people are talking about, maybe it was yesterday. Not sure. You know how it is. Echo chambers.
Yeah, looks like it was posted at 6:24 today. So 213 million.
Let me jump over to your screen and let's take a look at what you got here.
It's on CoinDesk. So obviously we know how these things can be.
Well, we know how CoinDesk is.
Cointelegraph too, right? They had that fake news come out. So, take it for what it is. But what they're saying is 213 million XRP tokens were stolen and then laundered across multiple exchanges. So let's go ahead and take a look, see what those exchanges were. Looks like Binance, Kraken, and OKX, all exchanges I've messed with at some point. But it looks like it says 5% it's fallen, but you just said you looked at the charts and that's not really true. So
well, on the daily, it's down 3.7. So,
Okay.
but if I
All
take
right.
a
So
look,
not too far off.
yeah, if I take a look at Trading View in the past 24 hours, where it's 24 hours ago till now, it looks like XRP is currently down about 1.3%. So yeah, I'm not sure where they're getting the numbers from.
Yeah. But it
Let me
looks
take the
like
most
yeah.
opportune
Somebody,
time to the most opportune time to give the biggest number type thing. I don't know.
yeah. It just looks
I got my
someone did some. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Brad.
I was going to say, I got my Coin Gecko pulled up, and I don't know how accurate it is, but it's showing 1.3% on the 1 hour and 5.1% on the 24 hour.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere in that
Yeah.
neighborhood.
5.1. Okay. They're getting it from that. They're getting it from that right there. It said 5.1%. So there's the 5% drop in the day that they're getting it from. Okay. Yep. Well, we figured out the source data for that. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything major going on with XRP right now
It
on the
looks like it was
charts.
just siphoned out of one wallet, is what it's saying. Somebody did a little bit of blockchain research, I guess.
Then it probably wasn't a hack. What it probably was someone didn't know how to do 2FA and lock the damn stuff and they clicked the wrong links. So that's normally what
Yeah,
happens with that. Let's go ahead and
there it is.
continue on in the news here
Let's
then.
FUD it out. XRP. You know how it's
FUD.
gonna go now.
But hey,
Yep.
that's why. So we're working emojis right now, just so you know, for our memberships, because we're almost there. We're like 69 watch hours away from being able to have memberships and super chats. And one of the things that I'm doing is fake news. It's one of our emojis that we're going to be putting in there. So let's go ahead and take a look here at Bitcoin liquidations, or crypto liquidations, I should say, for the past 24 hours. It looks like Bitcoin getting the lead here at $30.53 million of liquidations, 32.7 million, I should say. 22 of those, almost 23, is long liquidations. So a lot of people were bullish and got wrecked, REKT. In the past 24 hours, 52,525 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at a cool 142.6 million. The largest single liquidation order happened on OKX. Was an Ethereum USD swap valued at about $2.67 million. So one single liquidation lost over $2 million. I wish I had enough money to just throw away $2.6 million on a trade. I'm just saying. Of course, we have talked about this, that is likely the leveraged amount. So, if it was $10,000 out of 10x, it's $100,000 loss, right? So I think that 2.6 million, but still, even if it's 100x, that's still a lot of money that someone just threw away on a trade. No stop loss. That's why we always say, guys, use a stop loss. Economic calendar here today, guys. ADP. This is why we've seen a little pullback this morning and a little volatility already starting off. Today, that FOMC data is going to come out at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It says 12 o'clock right here. It's because I'm in Mountain Standard Time. I'm a mountain man down here in the desert. So, literally mountain range running through the middle of our city. So if you take a look here, though, 2 p.m. today, the Fed rate decision is going to be coming in. They're going to find out, I believe, just like it says here in the consensus and the forecast, it's going to be a pause. They're not going to cut. They're not going to increase. Where we get the volatility, though, folks, just say 2 o'clock comes along. It's a pause. Markets get a little froggy or markets get a little scared, and it starts to either sell or pump. 2:30, Jerome Powell is going to step on stage and start speaking. And that little half-hour speech that he does has more of an impact than anything they do on these rate decisions, guys. So be watching. If he's hawkish, obviously markets are going to dump. If he gets very dovish, then they're going to pump. And that's going to be based on how he feels the economy is doing through labor markets, through unemployment, through inflation rates. And there's been a lot of indicators recently that we're setting up for higher inflation rates. So I think that he might be a bit hawkish today, but that's just one man's opinion here in this world of economics. So let's look here, though. ADP employment change today was previously at 158,000. Consensus was 145,000. Forecasted to be 125,000. If you want to know what that is private businesses in the U.S. hiring. Okay, so they only hired 107,000 workers for January 2024. That is a lot less than what they were projecting, which means that hiring is slowing down. We've seen a lot of layoffs in the news lately, which means the labor force is weakening. If they were to increase their Fed rate, it would absolutely crush the labor force. This gives me reason to believe that he might not be as hawkish as he could be with the inflation numbers. He's really in a hard spot. He's got inflation numbers starting to peak up, but he's got labor starting to get crushed, and he can't have that because that'll send us into a recession, and he can't have that because that will send us back into higher inflation and cost. So he's got to balance this. So he's going to have to be very selective of his words today, guys. That's pretty much what that means at the end of the day. Brad, you got anything you want to say on the economic news side? I don't know how much you follow that stuff, but you look like you're like, yes, in agreement here. So
Yeah, I mean, the thing that keeps coming to mind is, inflation. They keep telling us it's 8 or 9%, but when I go to the grocery store, the stuff that I'm buying is 50, 75%, 100% more expensive than it was, not too long ago. And it's this, delicate balancing act where they're trying to go back and forth and to keep everything, the scales as even as possible. But when it really comes down to it, I think with all of the trillions that they printed over the last few years, there's not a whole lot that they can do about inflation. And I think that's one of the reasons, as you mentioned.
Wait. Are you telling me we can't just infinitely print money, Brad? Is that what you're saying here? I'm really confused.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And that's why shows like yours, are so valuable. So, to all of the viewers that are here, the information that you learn on shows like this and the things that Piper is teaching are, invaluable, because over the next few years and the next decade or two, things are going to be tough for people that don't know about blockchain and cryptocurrency. I believe that Bitcoin is the new gold. It's the hedge against inflation. It's what's going to potentially save, families' lives financially. And so, man, I don't really worry a whole lot about the news and the indicators. I'm not really trying to scalp profits on a daily basis myself. I have a lot of respect for folks that do that, and Crypto Lifer and you guys that are trying to catch the pumps. But I know that if I just buy and hold the right projects, good things are going to happen, and that's kind of where I spend a little bit more of my time and my focus.
Yeah,
He
it's
speaks from
patience.
experience, folks.
Yes, it's all about patience. Just give it time. That's what it really is all about. So, 100%. And shout out to Sam Price, Crypto Lifer. Love that dude. Let's get back in here.
Hey, speaking of shout outs, man, OC, what's up, brother?
OC's in the house. Yep, we got Trade Intuition in here. We got Dave Digital, Alexandra G. Who else we got? We got Ikachi in here. That's Tobias, Christian Major. We've got a lot of great people in the
My
chat.
twins in here. Alex O, French Toast.
Alex O,
Dave,
Crypto.
yeah, Dave in there. Justin Eubanks. Elo, my man Elo.
I got by the way, I got a rap song outro coming. Same guy that did Investing Bros, which I'm in also, and the same guy that did Alex O. And
have you heard of TRB?
I've got a little secret. Someone that's in the chat right now that is not OC guy, not Crux of Crypto, and not ZTS Rhythm. Someone else is in that rap song also. So you guys will have to wait and see who it is. Very special shout out to someone that's in this chat right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at what else we got going here, because you were just talking about inflation, Brad, how the price of things is going up. But take a look at this. Wages quarter over quarter. So this is from the previous 3 months to the next 3 months, right? For Q4, wages were expected to be about 1.1 up about 1.1% based on average growth. Previously, it was up 1.2%. It only came up 0.9%. So down 0.2% there on wages. So wages are not keeping up with what they should be and projections. And then benefits also coming down. So benefits not being spent as much money on benefits from corporations, wages not as much. And then, 2024, the year of the great layoff, is what they're saying now. And then, you've, like you said, 100% up on some things at the grocery store. So while some things are down, when you look at the total basket of things that make up inflation, we're definitely seeing a trend there. So I just wanted to point that out in conjunction with what you were saying about inflation. Let's take a look here at the FOMC. Let's get a little refresh on it because it doesn't want to load. There we go. Guys, here's what we're looking at for today, January 31st. Right now, it is a 7.2% chance of an easing. The reason that we're seeing this little percentage here of a rate cut is because of this data that just came out that we just showed you on the ADP for wages, for benefits, and job numbers. Again, labor threat. He doesn't want that. So now that I'm starting to see 7.2 here, let's look at March and see if this has jumped at all. Yeah, this jumped big time. It's now a 64%. This was down to 50-50 yesterday. 64% chance of a rate cut in March right now. And then in May, we're looking at a 94.7% chance of a rate cut in May. We're now going to see 100%. Yep, there we go. 100% in June for a rate cut. These numbers coming out probably giving a little pucker factor to old Jerome Powell, because the last thing he needs is recession to kick in, or a hard landing, as opposed to the soft landing that he keeps promising that he's doing his job for. So real quick, I just want to give a headline on this, guys. Jupiter token to begin trading on exchanges today. What is Jupiter token, you may ask? Well, Jupiter's native token will launch today. It is for Jupiter Exchange. It is a decentralized exchange. And what I want to point out, guys, this is launching on some centralized exchanges today. Do not be that guy that buys this on launch day. It pumps up. You buy it for too much and it immediately dumps. If you want this token, it's going to have a retracement. Every time that I see tokens hit the exchange, everyone wants to be the one that gets it before the pump up, and you're not. That stuff's already been gotten. You're going to pick it up at the top, and it's going to hurt you. And then you're going to have to show me on the blockchain where this token touched you in the bad spot. So just don't do it. Don't do it, guys. Be safe today. Not financial advice, but don't say I didn't say so. Let's look here real fast. Ethereum's Denkin upgrade goes live on the second test net. So there's just one more remaining. Next week, February 7th, it will go live on its finals test net. I just wanted to talk about that. Big changes coming to Ethereum. They're moving through this pretty decently quick. This is going to lead us into that proto-dink sharding, which is going to eventually, they say, cut down on those fees. So technical analysis. I'm just running through these real fast because I got a lot of questions and we still got to get into a little bit of TA. So Bitcoin technical analysis, a collision of signals and macro decisions ahead of Fed ruling. Headline on that, guys, says it all. It is a collision of signals. We are seeing so many bullish and bearish at the same time. And that is what we're going to see today with the volatility, I believe, that we're going to see a lot of pumps and dumps, dumps and pumps coming in just based off of emotion. Today's going to be an emotional chart day. Don't trade with emotion. That's what I got there. And then lastly, guys, got to bring this up and say it. Today, this is going to be going live. It says right now in 2 hours at 10 a.m. my time. So that noon, 12 p.m. today, you're going to have Alex O Crypto, Lunar Beaches Crypto, David over there, Tradefly, OC Guy, and myself giving the video breakdown 2025 Bitcoin predictions. When will the all-time high be? What will it be? That premieres today in about 2 hours. Don't miss that right here on Piper Academy. Okay, news is out of the way. I want to come over here. We're going to go in and talk to Brad. Brad, what do you think about the news today? How do you feel this is all going to play out on these markets today?
I think that we're going to see a little bit of, like you mentioned, the volatility. I really am not the guy to tell you whether it's going to go up after the meeting or go down. I'm really kind of one of those guys that don't care. I'm really looking at what's going to happen here after Bitcoin halves. I think that whether you buy Bitcoin at 45 or 35, long term, you're not going to be too worried about it. It's not going to make a difference.
Absolute fact. I think that if everyone is getting Bitcoin on any red days, that's what I tell everybody. Red days are your friend. I love to see big pullbacks. That's when I'm scooping up, right?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, just sit around and hold it until everyone starts talking about how much is one Bitcoin. Oh, it's one Bitcoin. When that happens, you're there. You've made it. So Lunar Beaches Crypto says that all the time. David, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Fact. So yeah, today, that's what, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we had we had Magic Internet Money on last week when we talked about the long game. And that's really what it's about. When we take a look here, I'm going to pull over a chart here. Not that. That's not a chart. That is the Safari. There we go. That is going to be a chart right there. If we take a look at this, you know, even with all this pullback, you guys can see here from this peak right here, all the way down to where we are right now. That that was about a. Oh, I'm on MYRO. Sorry, it's like 46%. No, Bitcoin. There we go. From this peak back here, let's try that again. From this peak back here where we hit about $49,000 all the way to where we are right now. That's about a 13%. All the way to the bottom of that was about a 20% move. Zoom out a little bit, guys. Let's put this in perspective here. That literally was a rejection on the 786, completely expected here on my long-term chart. Right off the 786, down to retest the golden pocket, and we're still in my normal phase 3 right here. I do think that it is possible for us to come down and do another phase 2 run, but that's a phase 3 here. If this could continue all the way over and we never ever even come back into phase 2. Guys, it was all right there. Technical analysis said, look, don't freak out. We rejected on the 786 of the platinum pocket. We came down here and retested right there on the 618, getting that bounce in the golden pocket. We're in the golden pocket and back out and back up, heading towards the platinum pocket again. Nothing has changed from all of that 20% dump. We are still on target. So breathe. Yeah. Exactly what you were talking about there, Brad. So I had that MYRO chart. This is pretty interesting. We had another Jim Hunter. I don't know if you ever watched Crypto Archie, Brad. Have you watched him?
Yes.
Yeah. So we had him on the show a while back, and he messaged me this morning on Discord and said, hey, your MYRO call was spot on. And I was, so I went and looked at it because I couldn't remember what I told him. You know, sometimes you say so many things on charts, you don't remember what it was that you talked about. I'm looking for MYRO. There it is. We were up in here, and I told him on the video, and you guys can check in playlist under guest highlights, spotlights. I mean, and it's the one with Crypto Archie on it thumbnail, obviously. Crypto Archie, right? We were up in here, and I said, look, we're getting to actually no, we were breaking the 1-to-1. And I said, we're right now hitting this first phase of the golden pocket. I said, I suspect that the way that we broke through the platinum pocket here and never went back to retest at all, that we could be seeing this come back to test that platinum pocket. Well, that's exactly where it came back to right there. Looking at the 4-hour chart, came down to a wick on the golden pocket and then came back up to close inside the platinum pocket. So, long games. This whole entire move here to the downside, where people probably were trying to DCA in. If you caught these on the phase lines, yes, but this is why technical analysis works great with DCA. My long game is well DCA'd, and it's literally done off of, okay, we're here and we're getting the rejection. I'm not going to DCA yet. I'm going to wait for a nice big red candle in a point of support. There we go. I've got it here. We got our reversal. We're hitting a trend line. I'm going to go ahead and put a DCA in there. If it does go up and rejects and comes back down again, well, then that's okay. It's just going to give me another spot to buy at and probably going to be the platinum pocket. And so that's what he did. He actually waited to pick up some more MYRO, and he just recently picked it up. So it works, guys. TA works. A lot of people say it's, astrology for men, but I'll take my TA any day of the week. So do you have a chart you want to show real fast, TradeFly, before we get into the interview with Brad here?
Sure, man. We can just revisit Soul since we talked about that yesterday.
The Soul Train.
The Soul Train. Woo woo. Let's go, baby. All right. So one of the things I was talking about yesterday, I was looking at the charts on the 4-hour, and I saw the MVP oscillator kind of bending over RSI, bending over down and right. And I was like, hey, we might get a little bit of a pullback here. Because remember, my original call was about 108, but I saw it kind of fizzling out up here, kind of losing steam. And I was like, this is probably where I would exit. Well, sure enough, we had about a 5% pullback, and we did come down to about the 200-day. All right, so it's finding support here in vicinity of about 97, and that's in conjunction with the 200-day. And also you have pretty much all the moving averages underneath of it, right? So there's a little bit of confluence there. So I would expect to find some support here. And it looks like we are getting a bottom indication on the VP oscillator. So, those quick plays, just kind of scalping or intraday, whatever, you're into, we could be at an area of support. I would like to see some of these indicators bend back to the upside. I'd like to see the RSI kind of reset, MVP oscillator as well, kind of twist up to the upside. So maybe we look for multiple touch points here, and then maybe we'll get some continuation of the upside. But just a super quick look at Sol. Just want to kind of follow up on that one.
Yeah, and I will say you're probably not going to see a whole lot of the TA side today because it's all going to look like that. That's what it looks like right now. It's coming down, and with the FOMC calling any range in its vicinity as support or resistance, doesn't matter when Jerome Powell can say one hawkish word or one dovish word and just totally push right through it. So today, definitely a DCA pitcher day, and maybe if you're the strong and the brave and the courageous, doing like Alex O, I know he's going to be doing it today, trading this volatility with tight stop losses. So, yeah, you want to give a shout out to Dave Digital. He said, that's right. It's the long game. So, zoom out and have a fantastic day. It's a little quote there from Piano Matty B. So, shout out to Dave Digital. So, all right, Brad, here's the questions for you. You ready? Are you ready, Brad?
Yep. I'm ready.
So,
let's do it.
We do a lot of research here on the show, and Crux has put together the entire history of Brad. You'd be surprised at all the. No, I'm just joking. We got we wanted to talk about. You have a really good show, and you have a really good community. And one of the things that we found out that you do is you have one-on-one and group coaching programs. Because that's here on Piper Academy, we're all about knowledge is profit, right? And that is really what we do. That's part of that giver's gain mentality, right? So can you talk about your one-on-one and your group coaching programs? What are they and how do they work and why did you decide to start doing that? So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So it really kind of came about because as crypto started to take off, and my friends and family and people started to see some success because, as you guys know, when you're talking to your friends and family at Christmas and Thanksgiving in 18 and 19 and 20, they're telling me that I'm an idiot. But all of a sudden in 2021, they realized that maybe I knew a little bit more than they thought that I did. But what I found myself doing was giving too much of my time to people for free. Like you just mentioned, giver's gain. I love helping people. But I would sit on a Zoom call like this with a friend or family member or ex-high school, person that I'd connected with on Facebook, and I'd spend an hour or two pouring into them, trying to teach them everything that they needed to know to get rolling in crypto. And then a couple of weeks later or a month later, I would check back with them and find out that they hadn't taken any action.
I've done that so many times in the past 3 months, Brad. So many times. And I've called people up like, hey, so did you get that Bitcoin when I told you, if you have a big red candle, pick up a little Bitcoin, DCA, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, I need to get on that. And I'm like, do you realize how much we pumped in the past 3 months? Like, what is wrong with you? So, no, I totally get it, Brad. Totally.
And so I just decided, the other thing was it's, 7:00 and it's dinner time. And I want to really make sure that this person has everything that they need. So I'm talking until 7:30 or 8. I go downstairs, my dinner's cold. My wife's super understanding. She supports all of this. But at some point in time, she was kind of like, man, you got to you're giving these people that are somewhat strangers in some cases more of you than you're giving me and the kids. And I kind of realized, hey, it's just not fair to anybody, including the person that I was coaching. Because the fact of the matter is, if somebody doesn't have any skin in the game, they just don't act. So I created a coaching program. I charge about $250 an hour. And I found that everybody that I'm working with goes and does what we talk about when they're paying me $250 an hour for my time. When I check back up with them in a week or two, they've bought the tokens, they've gone and created the accounts, they've done what they needed to do. And so a lot of people think us influencers or coaches are greedy, but it really just comes down to the fact that we got to live too. We got to value our time. And that in order to really cipher out and get the right people in front of us, we have to charge something, because when you do something for free, it just doesn't benefit anybody for the most part.
Yeah, and plus, it's great when you got the onesie twosies. They're going to take it like, oh my god, this is gold. You literally just put gold in my hand. And unfortunately, that's not the majority. A lot of people either it goes in one ear and out the other, and like that was interesting, but I don't have the drive, ambition, motivation to do anything right now with it. Or two, they write it off as you're really excited about something that I don't understand, and therefore I don't believe that it's true. Um, a lot of times you get those people, or you also get those people that they just take advantage of free stuff, and they exist out there. So yeah, absolutely, I think that's great. So what is your main purpose and your vision around your creating content and stuff? Like, so you found financial freedom. Obviously, you quit working in 2019. You said, what have you done with that? What has become your purpose? Like task and purpose. I'm retired military, 22 years. And the one thing that I say all the time, people need task and purpose. If they don't have task and purpose in life, they don't have a map. And without a roadmap, you're just lost and floundering. So what's your main purpose and visions for your content? So
Man, my main vision is to try to help, the hardworking single mom, or even the married couple that both of them are grinding 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and other people are raising their kids. You know, they're not there for the football practice, they're not there for the baseball games or whatever it is that their kids are doing. I watched my dad. He owned his own business my whole life, and he always taught me to not trade time for money, to create financial freedom, to be my own boss. Um, and so I just always grew up with this desire to help people, because our school system is the exact opposite. We get drilled our whole life to go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. And what I've found is that nobody that really lives a incredible life follows that route. And in my humble opinion, no offense to doctors and lawyers, even doctors and lawyers, for the most part, it's their wife and kids or their husband and kids that get to live the incredible life, because the doctor or the lawyer is at the office servicing clients 10, 12, 16 hours a day about their practice. And so even a lot of those high income individuals don't really have a lifestyle that I wanted to emulate my life after. So I've heard it said many times, lots of people have money, lots of people have time, very few people have both. And so I started my YouTube channel to pay it forward and to try to help people create financial freedom in their life, where they could actually design their life to whatever it is that is important to them. Some people really need, that Lambo or that mansion or that jet or whatever the
with
things in
Lambo.
life are. um, I'm more
When
of a
Rogue,
time guy. Like I want to be able to spend time with who I want, when I want, where I want, to be able to travel. And don't get me wrong. I think at the end of this bull run, I'll probably have some nicer vehicles than maybe I do now and different stuff. But that's not my motivation. It's always just been the freedom. I don't like having another man having his thumb on me, telling me when I got to be there in the morning, when I can leave at night, when I can take my lunch. To me, I just don't believe that that's what God put us on this earth to do for the majority of our life.
Well said, man. And I know, faith and family a huge role in your life. And you seem to have work-life balance laid out pretty well. So you just summarized really well one of the next questions that I had there. So don't even need to go over that one. I do want to ask you though. You discuss a lot of opportunities for investing in low cap cryptocurrencies on your channel and stuff. What are some projects that have caught your attention recently? Because Crux and I, we're actually looking at doing a segment called DCA Tuesdays, right? And we're going to be putting about $100 to $200. We're not in agreement yet on how much, but into this portfolio, and we're going to talk about what we're putting in into and stuff. And so, we're looking for 15 to 20x type portfolio move over this next bull run. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday, adding to it. So, what are some things that you have that you're looking at right now? like eight projects maybe that you're looking at that you think are great projects right now, between large cap, mid cap, and small cap.
Okay. So let me go ahead and hop over here to CoinGecko, and that'll help refresh my memory a little bit, and then it'll also make it a little bit easier for folks to follow along. When when you mention like 10 to 15x, I really think that there's a lot of stuff here in this top 25, top 50 where you can accomplish that. So I really like one of the things I do when I'm coaching is I try to get people to have a solid foundation in the top 25 before they start kind of going and diving deeper down the rabbit hole. So, some of my picks for this bull market is I really like Polkadot. And for a token that's top 13 right now, it's number 13 on Coin Gecko. I mean, you take a peek at it, its all-time high was in the ballpark of 52 to 55 bucks, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 54.98. So this is a token that's been around for many years, has tremendous success. Not too long ago, a bunch of us staked our Polkadot to become part of different parachains, and they've got Polkadot 2.0 coming out. Yet this is a token that is really still down at pretty close to its all-time lows. I want to say that this all-time low here was 3 years ago, but during this bear market, it didn't ever get really below around $5 or so. And right now it's still at, $6.67 to $7. So it's up slightly, but it's not like a Solana that I think during the worst part of the bear market, it got down to around 7. And now it's, ran all the way back up into the 80s, 90s, and 100s. So Polkadot is one of the tokens that I think is going to be a massive winner in this next bull run. And it's very low risk, in my opinion. But I mean, just to get back to its all-time high, you're looking at a 7x, and I think so a 15x would be, it wouldn't surprise me if we see $100, $150 Polkadot, and depending on where Bitcoin gets to at the peak of the bull market, it could even potentially, be more like a $200 token. So I think that this is a solid 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30x. And then just kind of going back, some more tokens that I like this top 25 or 50 that I consider to be relatively, safer bets. I think Polygon Matic is going to do very, very well during this.
It's TradeFly's coin there. I had to give him a shout out.
There it is. Now,
right?
The artist formerly known as Matic, it is now Pol, P-O-L.
What? Did it change?
Yeah, they just did an upgrade. Okay. So I think they said you have 4 years to switch it over or something. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Good deal. Well, I think that one's going to be good. And then a little bit further down the rabbit hole, I've always liked VeChain. I know some people love it, some people hate it. During the last bull market, it peaked out at about 30 cents during the last market. So, it's got a 10x in it just to get back to its previous all-time high. And then, a little bit further down, I think Algorand is going to do some special things during this bull market. And then I think I must have scrolled past it, but I really like Hedera, H-bar, for this bull run too. And then, part of my expertise, if you will, is when I first got into crypto, I was broke, man. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Unfortunately, I made some bad choices in life. I was a spender, not a saver. And so I really spent a lot of time looking for microcap gems because I was in a position where getting a 3 or 4x on Bitcoin wasn't going to change my life. And I feel like, that's one of the things that I do when I coach right now too, is I find out a person's, financial position. And I think the less money you have, the more aggressive you can be, because if you only got a few $1,000 and you end up losing it, it's probably not going to, put you, make you homeless. But if you take a few $1,000 like my buddy did, 10 grand and turn it into a couple million, or even 10 grand into, 150 grand. If you're a guy that's never really had more than 10 grand lying around in your life, and all of a sudden you can take that and turn it into 150 grand, that's a pretty significant change in your wealth needle. So a couple of micro cap gems, or plays that are a little bit riskier, that I'm super excited about. And I'm going to give you guys the number one token that I'm the most excited about first, and then I'll go into a couple others. But this gains token here is sitting at about 34 cents. And the reason that I'm excited about it is a venture capitalist firm that started off with a Telegram group a few years ago. And if you were part of their private Telegram group, they were bringing private sale to us. And we were able, even as U.S. citizens, to buy into these private sales before they launched, to the public for, get $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 into these private sales. And then they would get all of the tokens. They signed the SAF. They would get all the tokens, and then they would disperse them to us. So it's like a pooling group. And they created incredible trust in the community because they did everything that they said they were going to do. They gave us every single token that we were ever owed. And then they finally realized, hey, why don't we tokenize this? So back in about March or April of 2021, they created the gains token. And you needed to own a minimum of 10,000 gains tokens and stake them on their platform in order to get access to these private sales that they were bringing. And they've got a 30,000 token tier, a 100,000 token tier, and a 200,000 token tier. And that made me a lot of money in 2021 by owning these tokens, staking them, and getting these private sale opportunities that were coming. But what they're doing right now is what really has me excited about this token. They're creating an IDO launchpad. So for those of you that are newer to crypto, most of these tokens that are launching to the public, they go through a few different stages. They kind of have usually like a seed round where they just kind of sell some tokens to their friends and family and close community. They'll have, a private round where venture capitalists, can get into it at one of the lowest prices because they know these VCs are going to add value. But then they kind of get closer to the public round, and the very last round that they do is normally at the highest price, but it's on a launch pad like Seedify, and MakerDAO, and there's too many of them to mention. But most of these launch pad tokens do phenomenal during a bull market because people want to get in and have access to these private sales. So they are going to be announcing a brand new launch pad next month. And I believe that people are going to flock to this token because if you go take a look at Seedify, to give you an idea here, the market cap for this gains token is sitting at a little over 17 million. If we just go over and pull up S Fund is the token ticker, Seedify here. This was one of the most successful launch pads in the last bull market. It's sitting at $3, but it's at $180 million market cap. Its all-time high during the last bull market was a little over 15. See here, 1679. So it's a little over a 5x. So if you take 5 times, call it $180 million market cap, you're looking at about a $900 million, closing in on $1 billion market cap for this to get back to its previous all-time high. So I'm thinking that the gains token, and that's the other thing, you need 100,000 tokens to be in the top tier of this Seedify fund launch pad. So right now, if you wanted to be in their top tier, you'd have to drop 300 grand on the token. And if you had a lot of money, I would tell you it's worth every single penny because that's going to get you into $2,000 to $3,000 worth of your capital that you're going to be able to put into every token that they launch on their launch pad over the next bull market. And most of these things do very, very well during a bull market. And you also get some of the best vesting. So I'm invested in a token right now, called Meta Movers, where when it launches, I'm going to get 8% of the token, and then I'm going to have a 4-month cliff where I don't get any tokens, and then I'm going to get the remaining 92% of those tokens over the course of about 11 months. Their IDO round, the people that buy it, they're going to pay more money than I did for the token by about double, but they're 40% of their tokens when it launches, and then the remaining 60% over the course of, I want to say it's 3 or 4 months. So with that 40% of the tokens at launch, they only need it to do a 2.5x at launch to pull out 100% of their initial capital, and then they're free rolling on the rest. And so I believe, I told some people that if I was to start with $0 today, zero crypto, zero anything, and I wanted to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions, during this coming up bull run, the first thing I would do is try to figure out a way to get into one of these launch pads and be able to throw even $100, $200, $300 at some of these IDOs that they're launching, and then roll that up. So I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but if you go back to the gains token here real fast, it it's got to do a 10x just to get to where the C-to-5 fund token is currently. And then during a bull market, I think it can be a token where it's at 30 cents now. I would say this is probably a $20 token is my guess by the end of the bull market. And it could go crazy faster because 34 cents times 100,000 tokens. Let's say they haven't announced exactly how many tokens you're going to need, but 34 cents times 100,000 is still a lot of money, but it's only 34,000 compared to 300,000 to get into the C-to-Fi top tier. So I think that people in the know, the smart money, is going to come rushing into this project when they see their credibility, when they see how long they've been in business, all of the sales that they've brought to the community. Like, these guys got us into Avalanche. These guys got us into Blocktopia, which did over 1,000x at launch during the last bull market. I literally turned $50. I got 5%. I got $1,000 into Blocktopia. The first $50 worth I sold for $5,000. The second 50 I sold for $20,000. The third 50 I sold for $20,000. The fourth 50 it was back down to about $5,000. And then I've kind of held it during the bear market, but I pulled out $50,000 in value from 200 worth of this private sale. So I think that this token could do some amazing things. And on top of that, you buy it and then you use it to get into all of these IDOs for the next year. And then as we get towards the peak of the market, you can decide how long you want to hold it for and what to do, from there. So I know I spent a little bit of time on that, but that is a token that is just absolutely at the very, very top of my list of things to be.
Yeah, I do want to caveat to the viewers though. Do your research, like be extremely diligent. IDOs are famous for being scam farms, for just taking people's money. So be very careful. Do your research. Do your diligence. As Crypto Archie always talks about, look at the development team, vet them. Are they out there in the public? What other projects have they done in the past? Look at all of that stuff. And then also take a look and see, like, for example, is their market cap self-reported? Was it a third party audit that was done on it? Look at the, is there an audit report? Has anyone actually looked at the blockchain security? And then also look at the dilution of the wallets. How diversified, spread out is it? Is one or two wallets holding all of the funds, or is the organization itself holding a majority of the funds? Because then those people that got in on the launch could easily, if they're a majority, dump the price by selling after everyone else buys in. So when you're doing IDOs, you've got to be diligent in your research before you make a decision to get in on something like that. But yeah, if it's something that, my recommendation would be on going into IDOs, do not put in more than you're ready to lose. Because if you're only doing, if you're doing IDOs, like 10 IDOs, you only need one of them to really pop off to make real money. So, maybe you do like 100, 100, 100, 100, and, you see what, hey, I've got 5 good ones here. One of them pops off, I'm in the green. So, and that's my recommendation, not financial advice, but that's how I would do it. So guys, definitely do your research on that stuff and look at all those things that I just talked about. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You always got to do your own due diligence and take a look at all of this. I will say that a lot of these tokens, will not make it. I think that that's true of a lot of the tokens that exist right now. If you go on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, there's, 3,000, 5,000, 20,000 tokens, depending on where you look. And I think we would all agree that it's a little bit like the .com bubble of the 90s, where by the time everything shakes out, 90, 95, 99% of these tokens won't probably last a decade. But I will say during a bull market, especially, most of these IDOs definitely launch successfully. So most of the time when they actually hit and go publicly traded, they usually have at least a few days of some positive price action. And so I'm not here to say whether or not they're going to last long term, but I would tell you that when you're getting 25 to 50% of the tokens at launch, the person that is buying it after it launches, trying to get that, that initial pump, are ones that lose, because a lot of times when these launch, they do a 10 or 20 or 30x in minutes. And it's more the guy that comes in that wasn't able to buy in the IDO round that's trying to jump in when it's 10 or 20 or 30x and ride it up to a higher amount that gets crushed. The people that bought it through Cetify or through the Gains platform and then are selling it into that launch are usually the ones, that make the money. And so that's why I love to be a part of the actual platform versus sitting there on my computer waiting for it to go live and hoping that I can buy it quick enough, to catch the pump. But I agree with Army Piper, man. Ton of risk. You definitely don't want to be putting money that you can't afford to lose into these types of things.
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to jump over here and show some charts real fast, guys, before we wrap this up. Dixie pulling back right now on this last 4 hour, getting a decent pullback. Do have a major trend line coming in here at about 102.30 on that. That's what we're looking at there. Real fast update on Bitcoin, getting a little bit of an upside movement here, getting a clean bounce off the Delta median here on predicted ranges. Let it pull up there for a second. There we go. Bam. Nice bounce off of that. So it does look like we're getting some downside movement on the Dixie, upside movement on Bitcoin right now. But the one that's really moving right now, guys, that I want to point out is going to be that we have, where is it? Come here, you. Move down. There we go. And it's gold and silver. There we go. Looking at gold pumping up hard right now, guys. And then silver getting a little breakup, touching right now on that 100-day moving average. So I wanted to get that there out to the public. Brad, I appreciate you being on today, man. Always a pleasure to have a guest that knows what they're talking about. And you were a great guest to have on today. I'd love to have you back on again.
Hey, likewise, man. You guys are fantastic. I love what you're doing here. I cannot wait to see the explosion in your subscribers and in your viewership. I mean, you've got an amazing setup. It's obvious that you have spent the money and the time to, create a professional, show right from the start. And man, I don't know, 25, 50, 100,000, 250,000 subs is right around the corner for you guys. So it was a pleasure to be on the show.
Let's go.
And I'd love to get you guys over on my show one of these days too. Let's have you come over, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about you and share you with my community.
Absolutely. Sounds great, man. Just get a hold of Crux and we'll make it happen, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right, thanks. All right, guys. Tradefly, you got anything for the people on the way out here, bro?
Hey, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. We truly, truly appreciate that. Love mixing it up with you guys every day. And we hit 780. Go ahead, honk that horn for me. Go. Boop, boop. I'll do it for you. There he is. All right, so we're growing. We're looking for that 1K. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So you guys have a great day. I'm out.
Guys, thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy. We will catch you guys here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, doing all the markets, the news, the charts, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Don't forget, today, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be having the live premiere of the 2025 Bitcoin prediction video. We're going to be in the chat. We'll catch you guys there. Till then, trade safe. And as always, guys, use a stop loss.
That was awesome, dude!